run it in place.
Look at you exercising. I honestly can't remember the last time I exercised, like, on purpose. It's been a while. Just my current state of life. I don't know if that's good or bad. That's okay.
Oh, Jenny, it's just life. The good news is that we don't need to assign a value to it or a judgment to it.
But I'm really good at that, and I've spent my whole life being valued and judged for things like that.
Exactly. But the truth is, you don't. There's no food that's medicine, and you just gotta. And there's no exercise that's. You gotta like. All right.
Well, according to my Facebook feed, there's all kinds of foods I should be eating as medicine, and all kinds of supplements I should be taking as medicine, and all kinds of things I should be taking with my medications to supplement and make me better. So
I have lots of opinions on it. Someday we should do a show on all my opinions about, wellness.
Well, I would love to do a wellness one. Let's do a wellness one.
I would love to do that. I have many opinions on wellness. So, and none of them are positive.
Well, and positivity is wellness. Yay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I can't afford to live 100 anyway.
I know. God, no shit. Yeah. So anyway, guys, happy Sunday. You can tell Anna and I are in a mood this Sunday. I'm in a mood because I have a cold and I feel like deep fried poo. So yeah, I'm not feeling awesome today. So if I have a little edge to me today, it's not because of the current state of affairs or anything like that. And I'm sick.
Yeah, I'm not sick. So I have no excuse.
Yeah. So anyway, but we have a cat in the background. Everybody say hi to Cuckoo Kitty. No, that's not Cuckoo. That's Bo.
That's Bobo.
Yep. Now, did he and Coo end up smacking each other in the face after they got done kissing?
No, actually, Cuckoo's over here on the floor. Let's see if I can
see his little paw.
See his little paw. See his little black paws back
Looks
there.
Like he's lounging. Yeah,
he is lounging. So they've come to an understanding where they each have a different side of the room until further notice.
That's nice. That's super nice. So. Yes, you guys, it is Sunday. It is the 10th of November. This is the day that the Edmund Fitzgerald sank back in 1975. I think it was 75. So, yeah, I don't know, it was a while back. So
it happened. It was a thing that happened.
It did, and it was not great. Not great.
It's not. November in Michigan kind of blows.
Literally and figuratively, even though it is so calm today. It's crazy because right now it's so calm here that there's no breeze at all. There's like no leaves flittering, nothing. It's kind of weird. So we are having a very warm November.
It's a little breezy here and rainy. It was 1975, Jenny.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because, we've been actually really quite a bit above average as far as our temperatures, both daytime temperatures and nighttime low temperatures have been well above normal. And Colorado got a foot of snow. Denver got a foot of snow, a couple days ago? So, yeah, and they do that sometimes. Every now and then they get those earlier season snowstorms. This was a good one from what I understand. So, wet stuff.
I heard that. I was like, "Ooh, what a mess!" So
it is. It is a messy place to live during a snowstorm. But the nice thing is for Denver is that it adds some good moisture, and then it will be gone in a couple of days because that's what happens in Colorado snowstorms. So it's nice. Yeah. All right. So we are here now, and this is a big deal. So this is our first episode of season 2 of the Brother Sister Smart Dumb Fun. That's right. We did an entire first season. 52 shows, and I thought it went well. I thought, we set a goal for ourselves to do a show every week, and we did that. We had to have a couple of reruns in there, but not very many. But pretty much we did live content all year long, and that's grand. And so we will continue to do that moving forward. So yeah.
So here we are.
Here we are. We started our podcast several years ago, but we kind of got our poop in a group because of the godmother of the Brother Sisters, the godmother, Lynn Brand. And so we are going to continue to move forward with that. So yeah, we have an official podcast that we've been doing for a solid year. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But so we started that podcast a year ago with what we call 10 questions. And so we are going to go ahead and do the same thing today we're going to start season 2 with 10 questions, 5 questions for Anne, 5 questions for me, Janice or Jenny Brothers, and we'll go from there.
Mhm.
So to start with, Anne, would you there? Look, I'm going to go ahead and post this so everybody can see it. There we are. This picture was taken quite a while ago. This was
Mhm.
taken at Graceland in 2002. So that
Mhm.
was, like I said, a while ago. Look how
Mhm.
cute we are.
I
My
know,
gosh.
Jenny. And the thing is, like, Jenny and I stayed at the Heartbreak Hotel across the road from Graceland. And at the time, we were joking that we were the hottest two people there. And you know what? It was true. Look
I
how
think that
hot
was
we
actually
were.
true.
I think
Yeah,
so
we were.
too.
Yes. Well, because I was super fit then because I was actually training for a long bike ride. It was the Heartland AIDS ride, which
Mhm.
went from St. Paul to Chicago, which was about 500 miles when it was all said and done. And so yeah, I was fit, as the
Mhm.
English say. I'm like, I was mad fit when when that
Mad.
picture was taken.
Mhm. And I thought I was fat, but it turns out I always have thought I was fat. And then when I look
Y-
back at a picture, I'm always like, "Oh, it's not a fat. I wasn't fat. Why did I think I was fat?" And then I take the next picture. Oh my god, I'm so fat. So it turns out I wasn't.
No, and you were also mad fit.
Mad fit. Mad fit. So yeah, we were at
Yeah.
Graceland and we were the hottest people there.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, and
Um,
that was just such an interesting that was we were on a kind of an extended road trip. That road trip took us down to Atlanta and all the way across the South. That was when we went and spent some time in New Orleans for the first time.
mhm.
And that was Graceland was just a really interesting sort of I was more sad at the end of that than anything. I just thought I'm like, wow, look how sad this place is. It's so sad.
Yeah, they do a good job of maintaining it, but it was not I went there because what really inspired me to go there was the Paul Simon song,
Okay. Yeah.
Graceland. That's what really
Yes.
inspired me. So we'll all meet in Graceland, and I was kind of like I was more like on this pilgrimage because I'm not a huge Elvis fan or anything,
Nor
but I
I.
just really wanted to go. All our we will all be received in Graceland, and I just was like I wanted to go there, and um it made me, yeah, it did make me a little sad. I just felt like here was somebody who, his personality, his sense of style and personality is really reflected in Graceland. And it seemed like he was a lonely person. It seemed like this was the house of a lonely man. And yeah, it made me a little sad too.
A lonely man who was trying to fill the void.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
finally had everything he wanted, but it didn't seem like it was enough. So,
No, no, and that was my takeaway from that. But
mhm.
beforehand, that was the first place I ever saw a hotel that had waffle makers. That
Yes.
was yes, that
Yes.
was like after that, and they had like more than one. There was like a line of waffle makers
Yeah,
at
exactly.
Graceland's Heartland Hotel, and it was
Exactly.
kind of nice because you could stay there, and it was a real decent hotel. I mean, it was
Mhm,
it was a nice little hotel. You had the big breakfast bar, including many waffle makers, and then
mhm,
you would get on a little shuttle, and they would shuttle you over to Graceland.
mhm.
It was nice. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it was a good
yeah,
tour. It was totally
it
worth it.
was. It was.
It was good memories, but I thought I was going to be more, I don't know. I thought it was going to be more kitschy, like it was gonna, but it didn't. It made me have real feelings, which surprised me.
Me too. Me
Mhm.
too. Yep, that's my takeaway from Graceland. So
Yeah,
there
that
you
was my
go.
takeaway from Graceland as well.
Nice.
Mhm.
Anne, would you like to take us through the synopsis so people can find out? So if you've been with us, you know this and you know who we are and what we do. But if you've never joined the show before, this is who we are and what we do. Anne, hit it.
We are Anne and Janice Brothers, and our last name is Brothers, and we are sisters. And with a gimmick like that, we should run for office because anybody can win an office now, I guess. Sorry, getting a little political. I probably will today. We're in our 50s, which means we're Gen X, and that means that we are the middle child of generations. We sit in between the baby boomers and the millennials, which are much bigger generational groups than ours. The Gen X is a fairly small generational group. And because we're the middle child, we are sarcastic but resilient.
With the Jan Brady of generations.
I think we are a Jenny. We're the Jan
Okay.
Bradys. We talk.
Honestly, Jan had a lot of freedom, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I thought it was so funny. Like,
Greg is
oh,
smoking.
I know, but it's like,
That is smoking. Sorry.
how is Jan not as pretty as Marsha? I'm like, they're both like blonde girls. I'm like, beautiful. How is Marcia better looking? I could never figure that out. I was like, aren't both of them beautiful? Anyway, I digress.
Oh, and you don't understand.
You're
I don't
right. I don't.
I
I
don't
don't.
either. So
But
I'm just
yeah,
gonna we're just gonna go with that. So
we're
yeah.
just gonna go with it. We talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any combination of the three. And we are not cool, hip, or sexy. And we know this because we say please and thank you to Alexa.
Do that all the time. And Joe said something mean to Alexa the other day, and I was like, really? I don't think she deserves that. And then I was like, but then again, I have always been one to apply feelings to inanimate objects. I've been doing that
Mhm,
since I was little. So I don't
mhm.
know if that's a thing or not, but I do that all the time. So it's like, I would really like when Alexa and the other bots take over the world. I would really hope that they cut me some slack because I said please and thank you.
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping to. I'm hoping that they'll show me at least as much politeness as I showed them. All right. So we're not a celebrity influencer or a true crime podcast. We're the dollar store podcast. We're a cheap thrill with every visit.
And the good news though is that like the dollar store, you can probably find what you need there. So there you go.
Exactly. It's usually where I end up first. I was like, well, let me check the dollar store first. And I'm like, I need wrapping paper anyway, so I have to go.
Yeah, they've wrapping paper. They have, lower tier cookies, which are still cookies. They have
Hmm.
lower tier soup, which is still soup. So,
Hmm.
what do
Exactly. Stickers. Always
stickers.
stickers.
That's where you go when you want to get theater candy. They have boxes of theater
Their
candy there.
candy. Exactly. That's where I went
Yeah.
when we saw the stupid vampire movie. I stopped and
Oh
got
yeah,
candy for us there. That was the best part.
it
And the
was. It
pop.
was awesome,
All
and the
right.
popcorn was delicious.
We are great to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff and because you deserve a break from all the other shit.
Oh, and what a shit it has been this week. Just one great big twisty cone of a dump. Okay, sorry, getting
Mhm.
political. It can't help it. It just keeps leaking out of me.
Exactly. So, in case you didn't notice, and we haven't mentioned it before, this podcast is not PG, or even PG-13 because what the fuck happened again?
Again.
Join us on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Like us, follow us, hit the bell, leave us a review, give us your feedback. Uh, ask Alexa nicely, and she
Nice.
will help you find us.
That's right. She does that because she's good. She's good at her job. So there you
Please
go.
and thank you, Alexa, my
Yes.
overlord, my
My soon to be over.
overlordess.
Well, it's funny because I can't remember anything anymore. And so she's sort of my rememberer. I do it all the time. I'm like, hey, remind me to do this thing. Remind me to do this thing. Remind me to do this thing. Remind me that I have to put a shirt on, that sort of thing.
Oh, God help us.
Remind me to put my underwear on under my pants, and that's pretty much what I've become like a giant, Alexis, my mommy person now.
Tell
Mommy,
me.
remind me to do this. Mommy, you didn't remind me to do this. That's
Oh
probably not great.
man, it's probably
Anna's
not.
right. You can follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Like us, subscribe us, leave a comment, smash that button. I
Mm.
heard that last week, and now I'm like, I'm gonna say that every time now. Smash it, yo.
Smash it, yo.
So, you know what? Maybe that's what we need to do, Ann. Maybe we should like embrace the bro part of our brothers sisters and be like, dude, we're a bro podcast, dude. Like us, smash it, y'all. No.
Yes, that stuff that she just said.
Protein. Let's
Bro,
go.
exactly. Ugh, God. Actually, I do have my own line of bro pillows. They take me forever to make, but I've made 3. But
Ann's bro pillows are the best bro pillows ever. And if I ever figure that's one of the things we're going to talk about with our questions today, when I ever figure all this out, we are going to be selling Ann's bro pillows. And just so you know, they're funny. Okay.
they're funny. They are funny. It was actually my brother-in-law, Joe. He's like, "Oh, you should call these," because I made one for my sister. He's like, "You should call these bro pillows." So instead of throw pillow, bro pillow. So I embroider on the back of all of them bro pillow, so that
Yes.
it's a bro pillow. The problem is they're all embroidered, and I usually only embroider when it's cold outside. So in the summer, I'm like, it's light out and it's nice. So I'm not, doing stuff like that. I'm usually in my yard. So I've started taking up. I have a pillow I'm working on. It's fan fucking tastic. It's inspired
Nice.
by somebody somewhere. So thank you very much for that. But
Thank you,
yes, I'm in
Bridget.
the middle of it. It is my most hilarious, lovely, vulgar pillow so far.
I think Yeah, because you basically you made me a Get Swole Bro pillow, and it's a turtle,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Exactly. Well, my last one I did was I did a bunch of birds, and instead of saying tweet, 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 they say twat, twat, twat. And when people see it, they're like,
Nice.
what does that say? Does that
It says what you think it
it
says.
says it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it says. It's just that sort of thing, you know.
Agreed. It's awesome. So
Mhm,
yeah, you should do all that stuff on the Facebook and the Spotify, YouTube,
mhm,
Instagram, blah blah blah.
mhm,
And don't be afraid to share us because you can share us and support us for absolutely free. You don't even need to buy a bro pillow unless you want a bro pillow
mhm.
because then you'll get a bro
Exactly.
pillow. So there you
Exactly.
go.
Mhm.
Let's see. Now we spend some of our time talking about smart stuff, fun stuff, dumb stuff, and so. And you want to start? Or you want me to start this week?
You start this week.
All right. This was a mixed bag this week. I had some really fun stuff happen this week, and I had some really shitty stuff happen this week. So the fun stuff, we'll go ahead and start with that. Joe took me on a date last Friday, and we went to the Crawl Space Theater in Kalamazoo, and we watched a murder mystery improv show, and it was very entertaining. I can't say that the Crawl Space is a little improv theater in Kalamazoo, and I really enjoyed it. We just really enjoyed the effort. It's a great space. It's not so improv theater is fun because it's interactive, and so it was really great. We're hoping to have Dan and Tara on, the owners of the Crawl Space Theater. Hopefully they will respond to my email and come on to the show because we would really love to have them on. And it's just I did improv when I lived in Denver, and so it was just nice to be around the form again because it's been such a long time since I've been around it. I went to a show last year at Portage North High School. They did an improv show for their play. Instead of doing like a regular play, they did an improv show, and it was entertaining as can be. And so it was nice to kind of see that again. So really enjoyable. If you are looking for a fun night of entertainment, go over to the Crawl Space Theater. Great space. They have bar, they have pizza available that you can order, and it's just a really friendly, welcoming place. I liked it. I would go back. I'm going back. Let's see. I had fun hanging out with some of my old classmates, Beth, Patty, Carol Griffith. Joe went with us. We went to Maria's in Sturgis. It was nice. We hung out. We ended up going and saying hello to the Gorsuches afterwards, so that was nice. And the rest of my week was dumb. I got sick. I have a cold right now. Trying not to get hopefully it won't morph into whatever plague is taking place in around my high school right now. So we're gonna kind of hope for that. But I don't feel great right now. And frankly, I thought the election sucked ass. So and I'm sorry to say that I'm not surprised. The result did not shock me. Um, but I think it sucks nonetheless. I think the dude that got elected is a bad guy, and I don't like him. I didn't like him the first time. I think he sucks. Okay, I said it. All right. Anyway, Anne, what about you? What about your smart, dumb, fun stuff this week?
Well, I had a I was trying to find like the things that made me happy this week because I was having a hard time. Anyway, Jenny and I have talked about this before. We buy little gifts for each other and wrap them, and then we put them in. Jenny calls my gift thing that she puts stuff in my fuck it bucket, and I call Jenny's thing her surprise box. No, that is not a euphemism. And so, anyway, once a week I usually pick something out, usually on a Monday. And this week I picked out this little Pusheen. If you're not familiar with Pusheen, he's a little cat character, fat gray cat character that I'm mildly obsessed with. So this little Pusheen had candy in it. And it was disgusting candy. I know because I tried it, but it kind of looked like baby aspirin. If you remember that from the 70s, that kind of peachy baby aspirin. So I took that out, and it turns out that I have a tiny art kit. I had little tiny colored pencils and little tiny watercolors, and they fit perfectly in my little Pusheen. So now I can take my tiny art kit with me wherever I go, and I put it in my purse because you never know when you're going to need to make art. So there you go. That was my fun thing that I did this week. Was I
Love it.
took- Mhm.
I like the fact that it's a multi-use container. So not only did it
Exactly.
have little baby aspirin candies, but you've repurposed it, which
Uh-huh.
is what we should be doing on all things environmentally. For those of you that didn't hear that, my husband has come in and he is working in the kitchen during my show. So there you go.
There you go. Thanks, baby.
He's got perishables. It's fine.
It's
So
fine. It's fine.
there you
Okay.
go. Yes.
Yeah. So
Anything else this week that was so I love that. I like the fact that when you because you sent me a picture showing that you had opened the tiny pills and you were hoping they were some form of drugs. They were not. They were
they
just
were
regular
not.
candy. And I
Hmm.
love the fact that then you sent me a picture back showing me all the cool things you put in there. And that thing is not very big. The fact that you had stuff that fit in there is pretty remarkable. So I am impressed by that.
Yeah. So that's and the rest of the week was I have nothing new to say. When I think of something new, I will let you know.
For me, it's just I have many thoughts and feelings. Like I said,
Hmm.
we really work hard not to be political on this show because this is kind of the place where people kind of break from that. But you can't. I'm also not going to hide my feelings when it comes to all of this.
Hmm.
If you're not comfortable listening to it, feel free to tune out. We're not going to sit here and rail and rant. Um, there's no. I don't know. You said it earlier, Ann, when you said, we chose this as a nation, popular vote, Senate, probably the House. This is the choice that was made. This is how democracy works, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it sucks. So
Hmm.
right now is one of those times where it sucks. You try to find meaning and in all of it, and um, cling to your friendships and your family and your relationships that you're close to. But I also think it's okay to question some of the relationships that you have. I think that's
Hmm.
okay too. So
Yeah.
anyway, there you go. That's and we'll get to more of that in a little bit, but
Hmm.
maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we'll
Hmm.
just talk about other stuff. So, all right. So anyway, the way 10 questions with the brother sisters works, it works like this. We kind of go back and forth style with our 10 questions. And yeah, so Anne, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? So I have my questions. Do you want me to put the questions up? How do you want this to work?
Yeah. You're in charge of that, Jenny Brothers. So you make the decision, and I will roll with it.
Okay, well then,
Mhm.
give me 1 second here because I'm going to clear
Okay,
this out.
no problem.
And
This picture
okay,
here, if you're watching this, is Jenny and I when we did our first Happy Little Trees 5K. And this is after we'd finished it. And look how excited we are. We were doing some exercise. And again, look, not as fat as I think I am. So,
not at
neither
all,
of us,
not at
not at
all.
all, not at all. So, yeah. So this was, that was fun. We have done three cents then.
I
Yeah. I
think
mean,
it's
all
been,
together.
yeah, I want to say it's been three.
We've
So
been doing it every year. The nice thing about it is that they give you a week to complete it, and then you can go and do your 5K wherever you want. So you're not with a big group, and so we always pick someplace really pretty and do it. So I imagine we'll do that in 2025 if women are allowed to be in public by themselves. Then I imagine we'll do that in 2025 too.
uh, yep, just keeps
Uh,
leaking out. Can't
it
help it.
does. It
So
does. I
yeah,
can't help it.
yeah,
I can't help it. I got
yes,
uh, I got
I get it.
incontinence of the brain and mouth today, so it'll
Yes,
just leak
yes.
out at the most unfortunate times.
In opportune times when
Hmm.
we're trying not to be political, but sometimes
Uh-huh.
you know.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
All right, so I've got some banners up here because our cousin Joe wants to see our bright and shiny smiling faces. So I'm going to
Mhm.
work to make sure that Joe gets to see our bright and shiny smiling faces. All
Yeah.
right,
Look at
so
this,
there's
Joe.
your questions, and I got to do
Smart,
my questions here.
funny
So,
ladies showing our
yes,
middle-aged faces
yes.
to the
All right, let me.
Americas. Uh,
Uh, I was
okay.
told by my students a couple days ago that I do not look like I'm in my 50s. I look like a solid late 40s to them. So,
Well, which is still really old. So I had a lady yesterday, I was working yesterday, and I'm working in retail again. And so you have a lot of interactions, like short interactions with people, which can be very entertaining. And one lady told me that the lipstick I was wearing was perfect for my complexion. And she knew because she used to sell Mary Kay. And I was like, well, damn, look at me.
look at
Middle
you,
aged
Mary Kay
lady
girl.
impressing other middle aged ladies. Uh-huh.
Now now that's a question that I have. Is Mary Kay still even a thing? Is that
It
still a
is. It
thing?
is. Oh gosh, yeah, it's totally a thing. That's the thing about like beauty, the beauty industry. It never dies. It ebbs and flows, but boy, does it never go away. There's always somebody wanting to buy beauty.
Okay, well, there you go. All
There
right.
you
Well, with that said, all right, Am brothers, here we are.
go.
We are up now. Do you want the first question?
Sure, whatever's up, whatever's up, I
Okay,
will.
and you get the first question, question number one, and
Mhm.
these are I've posted these essentially in the order that you gave them to me. So
Okay,
here we are. Question number one is, how are you doing right now?
fine. I'm fine, and neither are you. How am I doing? Like you, Jenny, I am not. As I've told people in the past, I'm an optimist. I am a hopeful person and an optimist. You can't teach middle school for 14 years and not be a huge fucking optimist.
Excellent point.
And so I was always optimistic. But I'm not surprised at the outcome at all because, man, you cannot, I'm just going to say this out loud, you cannot underestimate America's ability to hate black women, to hate women, and to really hate black women. And we would rather have a crazy ass old lunatic in comparison to a competent, intelligent black woman. Okay. There, I said it. So, how do I feel about that? I am not surprised that we still hate women, and it's still sad when it happens. It's like you're going along, you feel like things are progressing, and then you get smacked in the face and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot, I suck. And I had to be reminded, and so I got reminded this week once again that women suck. And that makes me feel like shit. So I have been trying to protect myself, and trying to basically starting with making a list of where I can be of use, because it's
Cool.
not, that's what I've been doing. So, and what I need for myself and what I need to do for others. That's what I've been trying to keep. And what it's hard because I want to run out there right now and say, how can I help? And I just have to be open to what's happening, and to also close myself off from the rhetoric and the fact that lots of people right now are saying things that have already been said for the last 9.5 years. And I don't want to listen to that anymore. I want to be open to where help is needed. And it's probably going to be much smaller scale than I thought it would be. So that's where I am.
That's
And I
okay.
feel,
Yeah,
and I don't feel great. I don't feel great. And I'm doing the best I can with that.
that's cool. You
Hmm.
don't have to feel great. It's okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Question one for me. Anne, are
Yes,
you ready?
Jenny. I am ready, Jenny, for this.
Okay,
Okay.
go for it.
All
Okay.
right. How are you feeling?
Uh, well, right now I don't feel good. Like I said, I'm sick right now. I'm not. Um, I'm like on the very early stages of being sick, which is tough because it's gonna get so much worse. So that's where
Mhm.
I am right now. I'm tired. This is as a teacher, there are the hardest months of the year are October, um, February, and May, and so I'm just on the tail end of October. We're a couple weeks away from a break for Thanksgiving, and this has been one of the most exhausting stretches of my life, not just because of work, because of trying to get the podcast to go, because of I'm working on a course right now of studying in instructional design, and just trying to be, you know, I do take pride in my job. I am trying to work hard and do a good job at my job. Um, I'm not doing a lot of great stuff right now in any of my stuff. I'm to the point now where I'm just kind of getting by, and I hate that because I am yep, I've got a Facebook user, but I don't know who it is. Facebook user that says sending love and hope you feel better. Gee, teacher tired like no other. Oh God, that is the truth.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know who that is for whatever reason. We're not finding out who identities are, but that might be a new thing with the platform. Who knows? But thank you. Yeah, just
Mhm.
it's gonna be fine. It's just one of those things where you just kind of grind through it. Hesse, it's Jen Hesse.
Oh,
Hi,
yay,
Jen Hesse.
Jesse.
Girl, I miss you. I hope you're doing great in Florida. I hope things are going well for you. Yeah, just tired and just kind of a little bit worried about a little bit of everything right
Mhm.
now. So, yeah, just a lot going on. I feel like I just have to remember what my husband says all the time to me, which is how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. And I feel like that's kind of how I have to approach all of my life and my
Mhm.
existence right now. Is just be cool.
Mhm.
Like you said, help where you can. I really feel like, and we'll talk about this, but this is one of the questions, is just I feel like what we're doing right now is part of what makes me feel better.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
right
You
on
know,
for
and
that.
I also try to remind myself that I don't know the future.
Right.
And if I look at 4 years, I start to panic. But the truth is, right at this place right now, I'm okay. And right at this place right now, we're all okay. You know, we're more okay than not. And then I don't know
I
the
have
future.
coffee. I have
Exactly.
coffee and
And
cream with
that's
cinnamon honey in it. And it's
exactly.
delicious.
So that's why I want to remind everybody that's listening or not listening. It's like,
Mm,
we don't know the future. So,
Truth. True that. Double true. All
mhm,
right, Ann Brothers, let's go back to your next question. All right, banners, questions for Ann. There it is. Question 2. Are you
mhm.
ready?
I am ready.
Okay. What are 3 things that have changed the trajectory of your life?
Well, um, probably the first thing that changed the trajectory of my life was when I got a scholarship to go to Eastern Michigan University. And my drama teacher and the godmother of our podcast, Lynn Brand, helped facilitate that so that I could leave Sturgis. Because before that, I didn't know what I was going to do when I graduated from high school. I wasn't a terribly good student. I was okay student, but I wasn't. I had a lot of struggles, and that I didn't know how I wanted to leave Sturgis so badly, and I didn't know how to do it. And I got this scholarship, and I went to Eastern, not because that's where I want. I was like, oh, I want to go to Eastern when I grow up. It was just the furthest place away that was still in a big town, and so that's why I chose it. And it changed my life. I graduated. Jenny and I developed a much closer bond because she went to Eastern a year later. I met my husband. Um, I learned that I wasn't as dumb as I thought. I met people that are still in my life. I have friends that I met at Eastern that are still in my life now. In fact, we just hung out with one of them last night. That changed. If I had stayed in Sturgis, I'm not sure what would have happened to me, but this pushed me out into the bigger, it gave me a chance to be pushed out into the bigger world, and that it changed who I was. So that's what that was one. Another one is kind of a combination of the two, and it was when I opened up my own business. I had a secondhand clothing store, and when I had to close it, and Jenny and I went on this 6-month road tour. Those two both things, what I learned from opening my own business at 24 was that I was stronger and smarter than I thought, and that as long as I worked hard, I mean, just because you work hard doesn't mean you're going to something's going to work. But when I decided to go back to school, all I had to do was work really hard, and it did work. So that was like, I was like, wow, look, if I study, I can actually do this. So it was like, and then we went on this road trip, and Jenny and I both got offered teaching jobs in New Mexico, and neither one of us were certified teachers. And it was at a no, it was in Arizona. It was at a Apache Indian reservation in Arizona. We were both offered science teaching jobs, and neither one of us were certified. And they're like, you can teach, and you can get certified while you go. And that really made me think about maybe I could be a science teacher, which was not on my radar at all. I took the least amount of science I could in high school and in college. And then when I came back, when we finished the tour, I came back, I got into Eastern. I went back to Eastern and got my teaching certificate as a secondary science teacher. And I pretty much had to start over. I had to get like another 96 credits to be certified to teach science, plus on top, and then I had to get another 30 credits for the education. So I almost started over with a second undergrad just so I could get that degree. And again, changed the trajectory of my life. It made me realize that I wasn't as dumb as I thought I was. And I became a teacher. I taught for 14 years. Um, it really opened my life. It really opened me up to nature and science, and it made me a much more inquisitive person. Jenny and I visited a bunch of national parks and state parks when we were on that tour. That opened me up. I became much more physically active. Jenny made me start walking. Cool. And so, I mean, I started exercising then in 1995, and I have never stopped. I mean, that all changed the trajectory of my life. And then my third thing is it's happening to me right now. So I'm not sure how the trajectory is changing, but I've already known that I changed. I started therapy about 15 months ago, and that is changing the trajectory of my life. You know, I'll just say that I've often dealt with things with anger because it was appropriate. I was, pretty much taught that that was an appropriate response. I also used it as a defense mechanism, and it's just why I went to therapy is not. It ended up being so much bigger, and so that's the other thing is that I just I'm not sure how this is going, what trajectory this is leading me to, but I already know it's changed who I am as a person and changed where I will end up. So those are the three. Those are the three big ones.
Those are three awesome ones. And
Mhm,
as far as our road tripping, the road trip that we went on together, we had contracted with a company out of Detroit, and we were doing education, like an education environmental show for
mhm,
kids. It was what this is the thing that taught us about how to road trip.
mhm,
This is how we learned to road trip was this because we were on the road for basically 6 months,
mhm,
all over the Western United States and the Midwest. And yeah, it was a pretty life changing event. Honestly, it was fun and it was
mhm,
hard and it was
mhm,
yeah, and it was, this was all in 1994 when there were no cell phones, and so,
mhm,
it really was. This was an exercise in figuring some shit out. So,
mhm. Exactly. It's a good time to do
yeah,
it when you're in your mid 20s,
yeah,
early to mid 20s. You don't know, you think you're like, oh, now what do I do with my life? And then, you kind of start realizing that your life is long and big. And,
yeah,
you know, so.
yeah. Agreed. It was a paid. We got paid to road trip, and it was
Mhm.
we saw some cool stuff, and
We
we
did.
saw
We
some
did.
great kids and things that were really eye opening. Like I said, and like Ann said, we had gone to an Apache reservation and did some teaching there, and that was eye opening
Mhm,
in terms of um I'd never seen poverty like that before.
mhm. Yeah.
Like, oh, this is what everybody's talking about when they're talking about true poverty. That was it.
Mhm.
So it's heartbreaking.
It was.
That is
It
for
was. It
sure.
was. And actually, not only did I decide to become a teacher, but I decided to teach in a district where, they had a high, was considered an at risk group. We were a Title One school, so that was I focused specifically on being in a Title One school where there was a greater need. So
Oh,
that was influenced by that.
nice. All right, and here is my second question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Jenny, if you were going to do an endurance event, would it be a hiking trip like the Appalachian Trail, mountain climbing, or an Ironman?
Okay.
Mhm,
Well, at my age, I've decided that I do not enjoy pooping outdoors. I don't. I don't like peeing outdoors. I don't like pooping outdoors. So I would probably choose to do something rather than like an Appalachian Trail. I would probably choose to do something a little bit shorter and more organized. And the one that I would really like to do, and I was inspired by Abby Dunning. This is you inspiring me. I'd love to do the Detroit Marathon. Um, she just did it a couple weeks ago, and she talked about the cool places they got to run. I'm like, I want to run to there. They got to run over the bridge. They got to run back through the tunnel. I'm like, that's tight. So they got to run through some really cool hoods in Detroit, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna get myself in shape enough to do a marathon, and I still really would like to do that, then I want to do Detroit. I want that. I want it because I'm sort of having this little love affair with Detroit right now. I really
mhm,
love it, and so I would do that. And I'm getting to the point now where yeah, the Appalachian Trail sounds cool, but I just yeah, I that day in and day out of that sort of um rigor is tough. After a while you
mhm.
get, much respect to Jeannie and Jackie for going and doing that because by the time you get to the end of that, it's your brain is like me done now.
We've done now.
Or yeah. And the Ironman looks terrible and I don't want to do a 5 mile open water swim because that's yeah, I'm just not into that.
Okay, so Jenny, then here's my follow-up question to that. Um, if it was 20 years earlier, how would your answer change? Say you were in your mid 30s.
Well, that's a good question. All right, if I were in
Mhm,
my mid 30s, I
mhm.
would do an ultra. I would do an ultra, like a 100
Oh.
miler. So I would
Mhm,
do like the Leadville 100 or something
mhm,
terrible like that. Um, and it's funny because women are highly successful. They are as competitive as the men when it comes to endurance marathons, if not more so, because of their threshold for pain, which I thought was
mhm,
interesting.
mhm. Not only
I
that,
think as
because women endure.
women endure, yes. So yeah, that would be the thing that I would do. I would have done an ultra marathon if I were 20 years younger. Um, and if now something I might aspire to as I push myself towards 60 years old is to do something like the Detroit Marathon. And part of the inspiration is that when I was doing more running in Colorado, I ran a 15K with a woman named Mary. And Mary, for as long as I live, I will remember this woman. We were running this 15K outside of Boulder, and I'm just chugging along, And this woman, she's probably, here am I, what am I, mid-30s at this point. And she sidles up along beside me. She's in her 70s. She's like, "Hi, I'm Mary. I'm going to run next to you because we run about the same pace and I need someone to talk to." And I was like, okay. And she talked my ears off the whole time, but it was really interesting because this is a woman that loved to run. She was training for a marathon, so not after we got done running that 9 miles, she was going to run another 5 because that's she needed to do a 14 miler that day. But it's interesting in that hour and change that I ran with Mary, I learned a ton about running. This was an experienced woman that taught me things about my technique, my breathing, how to attack going downhill, how to attack going uphill. I learned so much from that woman in that 90 minutes that we ran together. And it was like she was very determined to beat this one lady because they both are always competing for the 70-year-old medals. So she's like, "You have to run this pace with me because I have to beat so and so because I want to get that medal." I was like, okay. So,
Hey.
and it was just really interesting because she was very blunt and very funny. And I'm like, and I found myself really enjoying, as blunt as she was and unpleasant at times, I really found her to be a really great running partner. And I don't know, if she's still around or if she's still running or if she's still alive. But yeah. So
Thanks,
that was
Mary.
yeah. So thanks, Mary. So yeah, maybe someday I will be Mary, coaching some, young, dumb runner along the way. It's like, hey, you're stop breathing so hard through your mouth. You're killing me.
I can't hear myself talk.
Pretty much. So yeah. All right. So I think, yeah. So right now, marathon, 20 years ago, ultra marathon. So
Okay.
there you have it.
Here we
All
go.
right.
Very
All
good.
right. Ann Brothers, are you ready for your question number 3?
I am. I'm so
Okay.
excited. Okay.
Okay. What are, oh, wait, that's an old one. Here we go. It's that one. It is.
Okay.
Okay. So if someone dropped $10 million in your lap right now, I want to know how you would react. And then I'd like to know what you would do with the money. So this is kind of a 2-part question.
Okay. So first, I would think it was a joke. And I would want to verify it because that's me. And then I would split it with my sister. There's just no doubt about it. What's the point of having that kind of money if I don't make sure at least my sister is taken care of? And then she'll help me take care of my parents and my aunties because I'm not giving
Yes.
them any money, but I will make sure that they don't need it. So. But yeah, that's the first thing I would do. I'd split it with my sister. What I would do with $5 million, I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it. That's all life-changing cash, and I would want to make sure that I spread it around, specifically a lot to my friends and a lot of my friends. I would want to make sure that they, like I couldn't give them a ton. I was like, but I'm like, what is it? You can give 2 gifts of $15,000. So I'd probably want $15,000 one year, $15,000 the next year. So I'd probably be writing a bunch of checks to friends and family of $15,000 for this year, and then another one that said, "Hey, cash this in January of 2025." So that pretty much everybody I knew would have an extra 30 grand, which would, soak up some blood, I imagine, for people. So that's what I would do with most of it. I figured if I had $1 million or $2 million left over by the time I was done, I could, have my second house in Marquette and live a life that I enjoyed. Having an extra $1 million around to, get a little extra every month. Hey, why the fuck not? And then knowing that I helped take care of my family and was able to give some to my friends. That's what I would really want to do is to, it's like what they do with it is totally up to them. If I gave them $30,000, I don't care what they do with it. I don't care if they bury it in the backyard or give it away to other causes. I just would want to know that maybe I helped out a little bit. And I wouldn't start with big organizations. I would start with my friends. That's who I would start with. I would start with those people and then let them decide how they want to do it. Did they want to give it away? Do they want to keep it? That's what I would do. So there you go. So yeah, I'd split it with my sister and then distribute it from there. If I had $1 million or $2 million left, great. Have my other house in Marquette, which is kind of something that I would really love to do anyway, whether I had $10 million or not. And, be able to go on vacation when I wanted to go, be able to buy all the books I wanted to buy, maybe not work, maybe still work. I don't know.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So
love it.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Now it's time for my question 3. Ann Brothers, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Okay.
Jenny Brothers, What do you enjoy most about having a podcast?
Okay, I made a list. Hang on, I gotta find my
Okay.
list. My list is I love that it keeps me in contact with my sister. That's you. And that was kind of that was the motivation for us first starting this back in the COVID
Mhm.
year of 2020, is that it was a way for us to connect again and kind of talk about things that we like and sort of just see each other's faces and that sort of thing. I love that it provides and continues to motivate both you and I to try new things and meet
Mhm.
new people. And I would say we've done a decent amount of just travel and done some stuff, and
Mhm.
have managed to talk to people that maybe we wouldn't have thought to do, without that. So I like what it brings into my life as far as just continuing to open doors.
Mhm.
I love that we've been able to involve friends and family with this. For example, our friend Chip, um, who is our crack entertainment expert. Duncan being our beer expert, Jim and Tammy being our generation experts. Just little stuff like that. That's been really fun to kind of make
Mhm.
to help other people be a part of our podcast, which has been great. Um, I love that it has helped provide insight into us. My cousin Joe said some things a couple weeks ago that I thought were really interesting. That he's enjoyed it because it's helped him get to know the two of us more
Mhm.
so than he and Lance and Jeanette and those guys. And I think that's really nice. It's nice that we do have that some family that's like, hey, I didn't know that about these two weirdos from Michigan. So,
Exactly.
and I think that's been really cool, is that we're accidentally telling people who we are. So,
Mhm.
but on purpose too. So I don't know.
Exactly. Uh,
Let's see.
People are
Yes.
listening. That's so weird.
People are I love the potential of this show, and it gives me hope that maybe this could be something that we could do for a living. And
Mhm.
I don't know if that's realistic or not. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people trying to do the same thing.
Mhm.
I think it's yeah, I think it provides some hope that, and you know, it's not that I despise what I do for a living. I'm a teacher. It's really hard though. It's a hard job. It was especially hard this week because I didn't feel great. I didn't feel great all week, and it's hard to come in and try and motivate your students. And frankly, right now, God bless America, it is a hard time to be an educator because, and I could literally talk for an hour about why it's hard to do this for a living right now, harder than it's ever been.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's not just the fact that I'm getting older, it's this is a different animal than it was when I started teaching in 1999. So
Mhm.
different. And so, yeah, I don't know that I want to continue to do this for another 10 years. I think honestly, I got 5 good years left in me, and maybe I have another 5 less good, but I feel you can kind of feel it slipping away a little bit. And
Mhm.
that's one of the things I love about this show, is that I'd love to be able to do this for a living because I feel like this is a way to entertain and educate in a completely different setting.
Mhm.
So, uh, yeah, I think that's why I enjoy having this podcast. Yeah.
That's good. Those are good reasons, Jenny Brothers.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Ann Brothers. Yeah. All right. All right. Question number 4 for Ann Brothers. Now, I'm actually going to
Mhm.
put this question on the screen because there's a list right here, and I
Mhm.
want to make sure that people can see this list. So hang on. Let me do that. And I am going to wait. All right. And I'm going to put the list right now. All right. Adding that to the stage. All
Mhm.
right. So, Anne, question number 4 is this. Hang on. I got to get your questions up here too so we can have both at the same time. All right. So, I have listed on here 5 different foods that I know that you like.
Mhm.
Okay. They are red chili from Chopes in La Mesa, New Mexico. It is the patatas bravas from La Feria in Detroit. It is the fried garlic cheddar grit cakes for Lagniappe in Marquette. It is the seafood platter from Brick and Brian in Kalamazoo, and it's any cake from Boone's Ear Bakery, formerly the now defunct, the now closed Boone's Ear Bakery from Kalamazoo. So what I'd like to know is I'd like you to rank these foods
Mhm.
from lowest to highest. 5 being the lowest and 1 being the highest. Go to town.
Okay. So this is I would eat the fuck out of all of these foods. So
I
even the
know.
lowest even the lowest on this list is still the most amazing food. All right, so my number 5 is the fried garlic cheddar grit cakes from Lunyep's. And The only reason is that I can get these at least once or twice a year. In fact, Jenny and I are talking about going to Marquette in December. I will eat them there. So it's not because I like them less than the other foods, it's because of frequency. The frequency that I will eat this food again soon is high. So that's why it's in my number 5. My number 4 is the Patatas Bravas, which I will probably eat more often than the cheddar grit cake, but I love potatoes. Potatoes are my favorite food. If I could have potatoes at every meal, I would have potatoes at every meal. And patatas bravas. In fact, the last time we went there, Duncan's like, "Yeah, I could take or leave these." I'm like, "I could have 2 orders, literally." And you
So
eat them;
good.
they're so good. Oh my god, little fried potatoes. Oh, yeah. So
With this
that's my
yummy
number
dipping
4.
thing that comes with them. Oh, them's good.
So good. And again, proximity. I will probably eat these potatoes at least 5 times in the next year. So I love them so much. Number number 4, number 3
Number
is
3, yeah.
number 3 is the seafood platter from Brick and Brine. This is amazing. This is whenever we go to Brick and Brine, that's all I want to eat. I just want a seafood platter. And again, I can get this because my sister lives in Kalamazoo. The restaurant is still open. I could literally get this once a month if I wanted to. So again, it's more about how often I can get it, and that's why it's number 3. It's delicious. It has all these delicious seafoods, plus it has sausage, like an andouille sausage, in
And
this
dipping bread.
amazing butter sauce with all this dipping bread. Oh my gosh. Number 3. That's number 3. Number 2 is any cake from Bronzier. And as you know, folks, if you've watched the show before, you know that I sat outside for 4 hours in the freezing cold to get one last Bonzier cake. And if you want to go back into our archives and hear me talk about my Bonzier cake, I would be happy. You should go do that because it was funny. But anyway, there are no more Bonzier cakes. So it's my number 4. Now, there's a mild hope that there might be more of these cakes because the Bonesier family actually does a little booth sometimes at the farmer's market in Kalamazoo. And I'm hoping they'll get their shit together and get themselves a cooler so I can go buy a cake there. So that's why it's my number 4 and not my number 1, because there is hope. And I am, as we've discussed earlier, I have a lot of hope. I am hoping that this cake will come back. So my number 1 is red chili from Chopes. I've only had it one time. It was amaze balls. I may never get back there again. It's entirely possible that I will never have that chili again, which makes me very sad. And I wish that when I had been there, when I was like in 31 or 32 or 33, I wish that I had bought all of the red chili there and frozen it, and that there was still one more bowl of red chili frozen in my freezer from 20 years ago. Practically 25. So, oh man, the red chili there.
So good that I still
Freaking
think
good.
about it. It's like,
Me too.
it's this little okay, so the funny thing about Chopes is this,
It's a
kind
house.
of this it's this dumpy little place, and it's not it's nothing you wouldn't know unless
Mhm.
somebody told you, but, so for those of you that have never had New Mexico style red chili, essentially what it is, it's a puree of green chilies that have ripened to the point where they are red, and it's a puree that you puree with things like whatever spices, garlic and maybe some onions and some, salt, pepper, and when it's done well, it is literally one of the most wonderful things you'll ever eat.
Mhm.
And you can dip your chips in it, you can put it on top of things,
You
and
can
so
just
when you
eat
go
it
to
as like a
Chopes,
soup.
yeah, you can eat it like a soup. Um, so when you go to Chopes, you order something and then you can order like red chili with it, or you can order just red chili. But they bring it in this little silver pitcher and that you can pour it on your stuff and then you just want to drink it. It's so smooth and delicious and flavorful. And it's spicy, but not so spicy that it murders you.
Mhm.
But it's the best
Mhm.
of the
It is the
best. And
best.
New Mexico is sick with wonderful
Mhm.
red chili.
Mhm.
You can go anywhere in the state and find delicious red chili. But I don't know what it is about that little tiny place in southern New Mexico, just outside of Las Cruces, New Mexico. But yeah, it's so good. We're
It's
still
so
talking
good.
about it. I mean, honestly, we were there like
Uh-huh.
20 years ago and we're still talking about
And
it.
we're still talking about it. Yeah. In fact,
Yeah.
it's like and like, you know what? I can't have let that I hope it's still open because I can't let that be the last time.
It is because I looked it up because I wanted to make sure that it was still there, and I'm like, "Yep, still there, still doing its thing." So yeah,
Yeah, so maybe
yeah,
because I'm a hopeful person, maybe I'll get
yes,
back there so I can have me okay, a big bowl of red with some pasoli and 2 tortillas.
nice,
That's all I want. So,
yeah. I just want it on top of eggs. I love eggs and red chili, and what I love is I love New Mexico style enchiladas. New
Mm-hmm.
Mexico style enchiladas, you know how most enchiladas are served rolled with stuff in them. New Mexico style enchiladas are served as a stack, kind of like pancakes, with kind of stuff in between the stacks and then an egg on top. So good.
So
And then you
good.
pour red chili or green chili or any combination of the two over the top of it. It's
Mm,
delicious. So
so
yeah.
amazing. Hmm.
All right. So Anne, now it's time for my question for here it
Yes.
is. All right,
Jenny,
hit me.
what is the most difficult part of hosting a weekly podcast?
The fact that I don't have the time in my life to make it as good as it should be. I literally need another body or hands because one of the ways that you promote a podcast is just by clipping it and then doing things like reels and, Facebook reels or Instagram reels or TikTok reels. And I don't have the time in my life to, our friendship has been kind enough to point out spots in each show that he thinks should become reels, but I don't have the time in my life to go through and reel it. And I realized we could spend tons of money on AI software that would do
Mhm.
that for us, but we don't have tons of money to spend on AI software to do that for us. So that's the only thing is that I would say, is making sure that I have the time. You've picking up a big part of the load each week by doing the slides and the presentations, which has been super awesome. But it is frustrating to me that I have not been able to find time, and that's a lot of that my own choices in terms of what I do for work, taking on this extra class, those sorts of things. Those are all choices. And so I'd like to keep it, going long enough where I can really start to develop that. My program finishes in January, and that's what I want to do is really start to work on this. And we have some plans as far as developing our own little game show night, and we have some plans that we would like to develop as far as making reels and
Mhm.
maybe doing a little bit more road tripping, because that's apparently the things that people are enjoying is they like it when we do our lives, when we do our road trips and things like that. So the hard part is not being able to help it reach its potential.
Mhm.
That's frustrating for me.
Yeah.
So and it does take time. Here we are on a Sunday, doing this, and that's you have to make sure that your Sundays are clear, that you have content available, that you're continuing to make content. That's
Mhm.
probably the hardest part.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
I can't wait to go to Costco. No, not Costco.
I
Sam's
know.
Club.
Sam's Club. We're going to Sam's
Sam's
Club.
Club. Go to Sam's Club.
All right, and this is your fifth question. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Jenny Brothers.
Question 5. What direction do you want this podcast to go? Because we
Um,
have not talked about this. We've not
we
talked about
haven't.
this.
We haven't.
That's so
We haven't talked about
I am bringing this out right live.
live. And the thing is, I know we have I haven't really pushed anything because I know how busy you are right now, like giving a shit. So,
I do give
um,
a shit. I do.
you do, it's like, um, I feel like sometimes I'm like, well, you could teach me how to do the reels, but then you'd literally have to teach me how to do the reels because, and that would take time too. But, that's something I can do. I mean, it's not, can't be, God, teenagers do it. I should be able to figure it out in at least is twice as much time as they need. So, so that would be, I guess that would be the other thing in the direction that I go is that I would help more, not just with doing the slides, but I mean, doing the reels would be something I could do. I just need somebody to teach me how to do it. And I think I have a pretty good eye, especially if Chip was like really, he doesn't seem to mind like say, hey, look at this time stamp, look at this time stamp, look at this time stamp. If somebody was willing to help me do that part, and then I could just create the reels, I would like to pick up that slack. We just need to take the time for you to take a weekend and show me how to do it. I mean, a teenager wouldn't need a weekend, but I'm going to need a weekend. So,
It depends on the teenager.
I know, right? That's how, exactly. So, but that's one thing I would like to is to pick up more of the slack. I would like to see. I'm very curious about us developing a game night where we do a live game night. I think there's a couple of podcasts I listen to where they do live shows, and they don't do like huge tours, but they'll do 1 or 2, 3 or 4 a year, and they're quite popular. And I was like, that might be something. Even if we did it just seasonally almost, or I think that would be at least 3 months, every 4 months. I think that could be really cool. I'd like to I'd like to get more into the reels first and then develop a live show. That would be kind of the order that I did it in, but I would like to do that. Also, I guess what I would I was also thinking, oh, for just my own edification, I read a lot of books about women in history. I would love to have like at least one podcast, again, seasonally, maybe every other month or every 3 months, where I talk about some woman in history who we've forgotten, and I'd like to bring her back. So I just find that kind of stuff interesting. I'm like, that would be something that you wouldn't necessarily that week. You then would have like a week off. I'm like, okay, this is all yours, so that sort of thing. Jenny does a lot of the science stuff, but I would like to do more history stuff, more women, because that's what really interests me. And I have a number of ladies I would love to talk about. So,
Hooray.
yeah, so that's where I would like to go. I would like to do a little more smart stuff. And that would be one way to do it. I'd like you to show me how to make reels, and I could do that part. And I
Cool.
would like to. I am curious to see what would happen if we did a live show, if we did a live game night. I think that could be a lot of fun. Um, would I love to see us be able to do this as our job? Yes, I would. And then in ways I'm a little reluctant, because I know if it's my job, I have to give a shit about all the time that people are commenting, and all that. I was like,
Mhm.
this could be a 24-hour job, which, I was like, I don't know the future. Why am I worrying about something we are so far away from? But, that would be another thing we'd have to keep in mind, was as we develop this, what boundaries are we going to set for this? So that's
question.
another thing.
Fair question.
We haven't really set any boundaries for it yet, because our lives had made boundaries on this. But what would happen if we got so big, or big enough, that it started to set boundaries on us? So that would be some.
Fair enough.
Again, we don't have to think about that now, but that's something that might be in the back that we would
The
want to
future.
consider. So
The
there you go.
future.
So
Okay.
that's how I feel.
Okay, I love that. I love
Mhm.
knowing that, because,
Mhm.
like I said, I've been kind of avoiding that question because I wanted to ask it to you on the show, and there we are.
I
So
know. And there we are.
all right.
Now you got me.
Excellent. All right. Well, then let's take it to my question 5.
Mhm.
There it is.
Jenny,
All
what
right.
is the best thing you've ever done for yourself?
Moving to Colorado was the best thing I ever did for
Oh.
myself, because, our Aunt Julie, uh, when I was after we got done with the tour, I was a little bit kind of a lost soul after
Mhm.
that. I was working at Builder Square when there was still a Builder Square. For those of you that don't know what Builder Square was, it was basically the 90s, late 80s, early 90s version of Home Depot.
Mhm.
And so I had gotten back from the tour and didn't know what I was going to do next. And, I had a geology undergrad and flailing around. And so I took a job just to pay bills at Home Depot in the paint department.
Builder
And
Square.
then Builder Square, thank you,
Mhm.
in the paint department. And then I got the job as the manager of the paint department, which was fresh hell. And, was kind of just making a life for myself, And so at one point I was on the phone with Aunt Julie, and she's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, nothing. I'm comfortable. Yay. I love my life. Blah, blah, blah. Living in Ypsilanti. And she's like, well, that's no good. She's like, you need to be uncomfortable. And so she really did push me to kind of make some choices. So I went back to Eastern. I got my teacher certification. And then while I was doing my certification, I got the crazy idea that I would do my student teaching in Colorado and move to Colorado. And that was, you know, um, it was a popular decision for me, maybe not for my parents. And it was still the best thing I ever did, because a lot of really great things happened to me in Colorado. I met, again, friends that I am still, close with, lifelong friends. Met my husband in Colorado. I started my teaching career there. Took some swings and misses in Colorado. It really was a place where I formed my adult identity. I feel like it was a beautiful place to live. I got to see cool things and do cool stuff, and I got to, I got to know my Colorado family, because my mom's, my uncle Phil and Uncle Norman lived there, and my Aunt Carol and my cousins, and it was really wonderful to get to know them, because in our young life, all of our family, we basically gravitated towards the Michigan family. So that was really profound for me to be able to go and spend time with my Colorado family and get to know them on a different level. And I just really feel like that was, and it was hard, so the older I got and the more my parents aged, and the more I knew that I felt like I needed to come back to Michigan, and I'm glad that I did. But I'm also really glad for those years that I spent in Colorado. So yeah, that was the best thing I've done for myself. Mm.
That's a good answer. Good answer, Jenny Brothers.
Thanks, Ann Brothers.
Uh-huh.
Look at us answering questions.
Answering questions about us.
Yes. So about us. I know. Look at us. We've chatted on. We've just droned on here for an hour and 4 minutes. So I guess we better start wrapping this up. So,
We're
well
good at
done. Yes. So well done, Ann Brothers. You answered your 5 questions. I answered my 5 questions, and I think we did so brilliantly.
I think so too.
So yeah. Thank you for those of us that have stuck around with us. You've survived yet another hour with the Brother Sisters. And remember, you guys, we would love to hear from you. We've enjoyed the comments that we've had from people today during the show. Thank you for that. Feel free, you guys, if you are listening to this as on Spotify or YouTube, leave us your questions, concerns, comments, and confessions. That's right. We want to hear whatever
Penny
you
and I
got
confessed a lot today, so
we did. We did confess a lot. Confess back. Confess. Now I'm going all Game of Thrones. Confess. So
shame.
remember, shame. You can support us for free on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Like us, subscribe to us, share us, you guys. Let the people in your life know that we are always looking for new listeners and new ideas. Smash that button. There you go. Smash it. Join us next week, you guys. We are road tripping next week. Ooh, we've got a comment. Suggestion: read a book about Mileva. Wait, I got to see if you can. Mileva Marvich. And
I'm gonna look her up right now.
Okay, now I'm super curious. You got me curious. All right.
Me too.
All right. So Mileva Marvich.
Marvich.
I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm not entirely sure, but that's okay. That's a great idea because we both Anna and I do love to talk about books and stuff. So that would be an exciting thing. We'll see what that's all about. I love it. And there you go. All right. So until next week, you guys, next week we are going on the road a little bit. So we're going to go do some live stuff next Saturday. Then we'll process it and talk about it on Sunday. We're going to Sam's Club. So we're going to spend a little time doing a compare and contrast of the 2 big box stores. We went to Costco last year. We decided this year that we're going to do a little back-to-back. Well, maybe not entirely back-to-back, but a November trip to Sam's Club, a December trip to Costco, and do a little compare and contrast. Which one's better? It's the age-old question. Which one's better? And we've had lots of passionate replies from some of our friends that which one's better? It's Costco. No, it's Sam's Club because of this. I don't know. So we're about to find out. Chip Maley is taking us to Sam's Club. He's going to give us the grand tour. We're going to talk about stuff. It's going to be amazing. So there you go.
I can't wait.
I know, right? All right. So until then, hang on. I got to start the music. There it is. All right. All right. So we will see you guys next week when we are running around Sam's Club with our friend and entertainment expert, Chip Maley. Until then, Ann and I'm Janice Brothers. With me is my sister.
Ann Brothers.
And her little tiny Pusheen kitten thing. We want you to get out there. Look at how cute that is. Look how tiny it is. It's awesome. Hey, we want you to go out there, do something smart, do something dumb, do something fun. We are out of here.
Bye.